Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Chagigah page 18, which discusses the origin of why we wash our hands before we have bread and make hamotzi. Now, when I mention washing hands, it's not simply with soap and a running sink. It's very clear in Jewish law we're supposed to take a cup and hold it in our left hand and pour it first onto our right 2 or 3 times up until our wrist, and then we do the same to our left hand. Afterwards, we say the blessing of Al Natilat Yadayim, and only afterwards we dry our hands. The reason for this order is that when it comes to all mitzvot, we always say the blessing first. Since we can't say the blessing before we wash our hands because our hands are not clean or impure, so we first wash our hands, but since we have not yet completed the action by drying them, we could say the blessing and then only afterwards dry them. But the question is, why? So it's in this page of the Talmud that tells us that when it comes to all different types of food, when it comes to holy and sanctified foods, and even regular food, the food that we're commonly familiar with, we have to wash our hands. We have to wash our hands. And the reason for this, as the Mishnah Berurah explains, is twofold. First of all, because there's a general concept of being clean and being pure before a person eats. And we certainly can understand this nowadays, the importance of making sure that our hands are clean from any germs. So there was that concept. But also in the times of the temple, there was special food that was designated to the Kohanim, the priests. And it was called truma. And truma had to be eaten only while they are clean and pure. Therefore, they had to wash their hands. And because they have to wash their hands, even though there isn't truma nowadays, but in order that when the temple is rebuilt, and therefore it'll be necessary for them to do so, we have the custom that everyone washes our hands. Now, this is only by bread, but not by, for example, eating fruit. And the reason for that is because when it came to this food truma, it was typically something which was made out of bread, as it says, reishis de gancha, which is a grain, as opposed to fruit. A person does not need to wash their hands before they eat fruit or the like, only when it comes to the eating of bread. But we see something very fascinating, that the temple is not standing, but still we're doing this as a futuristic caution in order for us to be able to know how to be able to remain pure, and for the Kohanim, even if you're not a Kohen, that they'll do it properly when the time soon comes.